Welcome back. Today we start with politics. As we all know, and as we probably have been catching on with all the activities that has been going on in and around Anambra State and all friends of Anambra State. It's exactly a week to the governorship election in that state, November 8th to be precise. And all the political actors are gearing up for that big day where they either elect or a new governor or they retain the incumbent governor, that's Chukwuma Soludo, and other people there. The governorship election in Anambra State marks the sixth off-cycle governorship election to take place since 2023 general election. According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, 16 political parties are set to participate and an estimated 2.8 million registered voters. The nation's attention has once again turned to INEC and particularly its new chairman, Professor Joash Amupitan. INEC says there's no denying that Nigeria's electoral process has often been riddled with controversies from logistical failures and delayed voting to allegations of vote buying and, what have you. So this is another test for the new man in charge and the State Electoral Commission to actually, get this ball rolling and let's know what INEC has, the new thing that INEC has for us. Joining us today on the program is not INEC, but the parties involved in the election on Saturday. Three of the parties are joining us, actually. We have Chioma Ludike, the Anambra governorship candidate for the African Action Congress, that's the AAC, joining us via Zoom this morning. We also have Ebuka Onyekwelu, spokesman and media director, Paul Chukwuma Campaign Council for the Young Progressives Party, also joining us via Zoom this morning. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the program today. Well, I'm not sure who is there first, but I would like to address this to the African Action Congress candidate. I'm sure it's an exciting period at this time, just 7 days before this all-important election. What's going through your mind right now as we get set for the end of campaigns at some point during this week?
Okay.
I think,
well,
I will wait for them to join.
Yeah. Well, Chioma is, beg your pardon, Miss Chioma Ludike is one of the few females that we've had try to get in on that seat. And one thing that we can also say is, okay, so anyone who, I feel that anyone who vies for the office of governor in any state, they definitely have something to offer to even think about that in the first place. And then that political platform, African Action Congress, yes. Of Mr. Moyele Sowore, that has also been around for a while. The question then is, because most of the time we don't really hear these names until election times. Not that they haven't been talking or not prominent, but let's see if she can hear us now.
Right, Chioma, if you can hear, can you confirm that you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, wow, fantastic. Great to see you. So, I mean, you must be excited. What's on your mind? What's going to transpire in the next 7 days when, you expect people, to vote for you for this election?
Yeah, the next few days, you're looking at the next of Anambra State. And I'm so excited about the outcome, the history that we're about to make. I'm in high spirit, and I believe very well that we have done a good job, and in collaboration with the people and the universe, we're definitely going to emerge winner at the polls.
Okay, I'll stick with you for a moment. There's something that you have also said, because a number of people would wonder, you're probably a little too young to be vying for the office of governor. It's a lot of resources, a lot of responsibility that shouldn't be taken for granted, actually. And but I've also heard you say that you've been at corridors of governance and politics. So what have you observed over the years that you think need modification in our politics, and what will you be doing differently?
Yeah, fundamentally, because when you talk about age, I've come to understand that age is not actually the problem with leadership in our country and in Anambra. What I find to be the problem here is a certain kind of people who have hijacked power without any atom of interest on how it reflects in the lives of the people. So, and that is where the likes of me come in, because we on the opposite side have got the best interest, because I personally am very passionate about the Anambra state and Nigerians. In fact, everyone who is human is entitled to have the basic things of life. Most times the basic three things is shelter, food, clothing, and essentially to have a conducive environment to live as humans, to have dignity. But unfortunately, we live in a terrain, in a country where human lives don't matter at all to the very people that hold power, and they desperately hold on to this power without considering, how it affects the people that they're leading. So I'm coming in to, overhaul the entire system. There needs to be a paradigm shift. Something has to go. Something has to happen. And it starts with being decisive and being deliberate and intentional, and now channeling the resources. When you talk about age, it's not about the age or the gender. It's about innovations, creativity, ideas to do things. Yeah, so for me, I'm looking at keying into first in Anambra State right now. We need to sort out security. Security is major, on my agenda, under my leadership as governor, because you can't talk about long-lasting security without the People's Corporation. So making sure to have adequate security in Anambra State, we are adopting 3 pillars. These 3 pillars is in an area of intelligence gathering, local intelligence.
We'll come to some of those details. My apologies, madam. We'll come to some of those details. I'd like to open the opening comments of Mr. Onyekwelu as well, spokesman and media director for the YPP candidate. Mr. Onyekwelu, if you can hear me.
Very well.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, a good number of people will be wondering, it's the right of every politician, every Nigerian, as a matter of fact, to contest for any office of their desire in the nation, so long as they have all the prerequisites that the Constitution requires. But from where you sit, what is it that you think the current governor is doing wrong that your candidate will improve upon?
Okay, well, there are quite a couple of things, and the YPP is in this race for very serious shortfalls in terms of governance deliveries, which have become, which signposts the ineffectiveness of the current administration in Anambra State. For instance, between the month of January and June of this year, the current administration in Anambra State have been able to got over 150 billion naira from the Federation account. And on the ground in Anambra State, this humongous amount of money cannot be measured against what we have in terms of what the governor has delivered so far. And also, when we're looking at basic governance expectation from the people. We're now looking at maybe security and then also providing basic amenities. Today in Anambra State, insecurity, in fact, a few days ago, a medical doctor consultant was kidnapped. Nnewi is an urban area in Anambra State, a major and significant commercial hub in Anambra State. So if a significant hub in Anambra State is unsafe, I don't know that they are up and doing any other thing that is worth the while for the people of Anambra State that deserves, for them to be supported to return back. So the issues for us are enormous, and the candidate in the YPP support, Chukwuma, is determined, of course, based on his conversations so far. And of course, the YPP has been the only party that is focused on issues. So far, the YPP has been able to advertise itself as a credible alternative to the current,
A natural follow-up question, Mr. Onyekwelu. My sincere apologies. A natural follow-up would be, we haven't heard your candidates for this length of time until now. So why should the people of Anambra State imagine that your candidate or even your party is serious when we've hardly heard you? The only time we hear most other politicians, most other political parties, is when elections are building up.
Okay, well, maybe you haven't heard about our candidate. So, but that does not mean that the people of Anambra State, who are the voters in these very elections, that they are not with us at the grassroots. Because as I'm talking to you today, I can tell you for free that the YPP is the party to beat in this election in Anambra State, as we're speaking. And so that if you, for instance, have not heard about the YPP or the candidate of the YPP in this election, that in itself is a different thing altogether. But then, what I want to put forward to you is that you can do your findings to be able to ascertain the level of a YPP's presence in Anambra State as we are speaking. So I believe that you have the contacts, you have whatever you might take to be able to do a good job and ascertain the level of YPP's depth and readiness in this election in Anambra State.
Right. So Ms. Ifeme Ludike, if I could direct this to you, you're one. I want to believe. Well, I've not heard any other female candidate vying, for the seat in Anambra State. But, from your point of view, we have a new INEC leadership in place. While several off-cycle elections, have taken place under the previous leadership of INEC. This is a first for the Joash Amupitan administration in INEC. What are your expectations? He has promised a lot. He has said the things that should be done when he was being screened for that position by the Senate. He has said these are the things that were missing from the last time, and these are the things that he hopes. And this is a real test for his leadership. So, what are the things that you expect from INEC for this election in Anambra State?
Yes, integrity. That INEC represents itself for what it is and how it should, which is to ensure a credible, free and fair elections. An election that will build or repair the trust or distrust between the people and the system, because that is why we are here. We are here because we have seen there's a lot of distrust, which has caused things like voter apathy, that people don't even care to be part of the process. And this is not helping the development of our state or our country. So the stage is set. It is time for INEC to prove with the Anambra State elections coming up in the next 6 to 7 days that they have the integrity, the plan to make sure that the electorate's decisions reflect at the ballot, and nobody is disenfranchised intimidated, or any form of rigging in the forthcoming election. Because in the African Action Congress, we have said it as any form of rigging or malpractice, we would resist it and we will not accept it. So the right thing should be done.
Okay. Mr. Onyakwelu, let me come to you. If you would list, I know that your candidate has listed a 3-point agenda to elevate Anambra State. Can you please elucidate on those 3-point agenda? Again, I say, because even though you have said that, it's the people of Anambra that can affirm whether or not things are right the way they ought to be, the question remains, what the agenda will be, what will be different from what the current government is doing, why you think removing this government, the current government in Anambra State, is the way to go for Anambra people.
Absolutely, that's the way to go. So for us in the YPP, there is no other option apart from ensuring that the current administration in Anambra State, is sent back, is sent out by the people through the ballot. And so when we're looking at what we intend to do differently, so the candidate of our party, Support Chukwuma, has said that his government would be anchored on that's HIS, his agenda. That's human capital, infrastructure development, and then security. Now, in terms of human capital, for instance, when we look at Anambra State, Anambra has its fair share of human capital across the federation. Now, when we look at the value, that's in terms of what this human capital that we already have, adds to the current state of affairs in the state. There is no data to suggest that we have been able to make any serious progress in the addition of what we have already. And so, but what Support Chukwuma intends to do is to deepen Anambra's pool of human capital to the extent that Anambra will be able to,
just to be clear,
within the span of his administration, be able to export.
The word is human capital development, infrastructure, and security. That is noted.
And security.
Okay. Now, let's quickly bring in, and my colleague mentioned that we have 3 people lined up to have conversations with us this morning. Mr. John Nwosu is with us. He is the governorship candidate of the ADC. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've also heard you say that there is no doubt that you will win the election if the process is free and fair. The natural question to ask, first of all, is what you politicians always talk about: the political machinery, the political expanse, the field. Do you have what it takes really? Do you have the men on ground? Do you have the boots on ground? Do you have the spread in Anambra State to affirm that indeed you have what it takes to not just win, but to outperform the current government?
That is television. By way of introduction, my name is John Chukwuma from Amupitan, which I'm an ICT expert managing a company called JetLink Limited that has been operating for the past 31.5 years in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Nnewi, Ghana, and Liberia. So I've been managing, I have a team of experts who has been working with me. So like I keep on mentioning, there is the only difference between managing a state and managing a company is that what the ends, what do you need from them? For a company, you are looking for profit. For a state, it is welfare. And I didn't start from ADC. My history in politics has been long. I was a BOT member of APUGA 2014, and I became ICT director for P2B Presidential Campaign Council. Since last year, when I decided to run for governorship of Anambra State, I have traversed the entire Anambra State more than 4 times since April last year. So I have an able-bodied team headed by His Excellency Useloka Henry Obasi, who was the former SSG to Anambra State government during the regime of His Excellency Peter Obi. And Right Honorable Benchus, who was the DG of my campaign when I was in the Labour Party. So we already, as you know, Seloka, I'm coming with experience in ICT and economics because I'm a graduate of economics also at the University of Lagos. So, and checking Seloka with his experience in government and diplomacy because he came from United Nations, to join His Excellency Peter Obi as SSG. So we have a robust team, people that has been tested in government. That, in fact, if you go through my manifesto, you will find out that we are ready to keep the government rolling, especially going with my 7 points agenda of good governance, which is represented by an acronym CHIPS, where S stands for security, H stands for health, first E stands for education, second E stands for economy, third E stands for environment, then M stands for market, and S for social welfare for the elderly, the women, children, and the youth. So, and this project is to run simultaneously, similar to what the government of Peter Obi put in place, and its Anambra State Integrated Strategic System, development system. So it's to run simultaneously, cutting with the major problem Anambra State has been faced with.
All right. I don't think you can hear me. Yeah. Right. If you can hear me, Mr. Nwosu, it's one thing, and you talked about vast experience in the private sector and the number of companies or, sub companies that you run, across Nigeria and Africa, so to speak. But it's another thing to run a government, is another thing when it comes to politics. And it's another thing, you may be prepared, and you may have, experienced people also prepared, but it's another thing for the party under which you are running to have that structure, and which is what I think Ayo was alluding to before, that, there's a party structure in place, the incumbent, party running the government now, that already has a structure that seems to work, but with new parties coming in, it was relatively new, do you have the structure in place to be able to carry out this mandate, especially not just to run the government, during election time, to be able to man all the polling units? You have party agents manning various polling units at all the wards and all that. Is that structure in place for you to be able, to get satisfactory results that you're gunning for?
I noticed all the while when you were talking, I'm just laughing. Why? Because ADC is not a new party. You can call it a refined ADC. Because the constitutional ADC has come to stay for the past 18 years. But what we are running now is a coalition government, a refined ADC, a coalition party, a refined ADC, where the key actors, which is PDP, some part of APC, and the Labour Party, these are the 3 major parties that form the bloc. So ADC is not new. And like I told you that I built the structure of the Labour Party in Anambra State. And as of today, since I joined ADC, we have built a structure again. It doesn't take us time. We have offices in all the 21 local governments. And we have polling agents in the 5,718 polling units, effective polling units in Anambra State. So we have polling agents there. So we have what it takes to take the election by storm. So, and considering the fact that my deputy was the former PDP state chairman, so I have people with vast experience, The DG of my campaign was formerly of an Apuga shifter. So Anambra State, as a matter of fact, is tired of Apuga structure. So we need a retake. Is it because, Anambra State has been fully shortchanged by Apuga government. If you look at when I listened to my brother from YPP, can you imagine a situation where, considering the IGR generation, according to the Tables Index of 2024, for the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, can you imagine Anambra State coming distant 17th? Whereas Enugu State, which is predominantly a cosmopolitan state with few industries, but Anambra pulling 180.5 billion naira in the 2024. Apparently, and Anambra State is coming 17th.
Apparently,
42.69 billion naira. With all the industries,
there's a lot to do. And let's just hope. My apologies again.
Sorry. You can imagine that we are shortchanged.
Yeah, let's just hope. Just 1 second, Mr. Nwosu. Let's just hope that, at the end of the day, there really is a lot to do for all the people that are involved in this thing. So, well, let's go around the room very quickly, 30 seconds each person. How confident are you that this INEC is going to deliver free, fair, and credible election for the people of Anambra State? Ladies first. So I'll go with you first, Ms. Chama. How confident are you that this process has every trapping of being free and fair?
Well, I can say I'm confident in the system 100%. I can't actually say that until they prove themselves, yes. But for me, where my confidence is, my expectations is with the people. And I made this very clear while we were on our campaign routes through, Coffee and Jikok, I didn't really know. And I said it to all that heard me, that this is not the time to sell, mortgage our future for stipends, for crumbs, because you find out that the mindset, is polluted. Okay. And the people believe that they must get a bit of their own portion by taking something from these politicians, taking money without entering a social contract, which I think is much more effective and sustainable. Okay. So for me, people must understand that this is a life-changing opportunity to make a decision at the ballot and voting Chioma for governor at the 8th of November elections.
And that's just 7 days away. Yes. Well, Mr. Onyekwelu, your take, 30 seconds.
Yes, very clearly, our party, the YPP, has a standpoint. And of course, we have already expressed our confidence in the new leadership of the INEC. But beyond that, we also believe that the state-sponsored Udogachi, or the Anambra Vigilante Group, must not be part of this electoral process, because we are aware of what the state government intend to do with them, in terms of trying to use them to manipulate the outcome of the election result. So we will not accept that. So they must stay away from the process. Then secondly, the INEC and the IG, the police, had already been called by a candidate to ensure that the issue of vote buying is put to an end, except the laws of the country, basically which is on trial, has to be made to be effective.
Okay.
By the authorities being able to ensure that the current administration in Anambra State do not repeat what it did during the last by-election of August 16th.
All right, no. Thank you so much, Mr. Onyekwelu. Well, the point has been made, absolutely. Now, Mr. Nwosu, how confident are you? 30 seconds as well.
Well, I have reasonable level of confidence on especially with the new INEC chairman coming on board. But as a matter of fact, I always put it back on the people as well, the actors, especially the incumbent in Anambra State. So many things has gone wrong. There are so many things accredited to him on the issue of vote buying and whatever. And sometimes I wonder, is there no laws in this country as well? Yesterday I heard that, he's promising people if you deliver your polling booth, you get into it. What does that show? It shows he has not done any work. A good government who has something to show because he's running on his records should not be afraid, But calling again on all the security institutions to do their jobs.
Right.
Because once there is a lot of people are resorting to voters' apathy. If you look at the records, last 4 years, it was only 10% that came out to vote.
A good place to stop. Thank you. A good place to stop. Thank you so much for that, gentleman and lady. Thank you for your time on the program today and for sharing your thoughts about, hopes and expectations and what you expect from the elections in Anambra next week. Chioma Ifemeludike, the Anambra governorship candidate for the African Action Congress. John Nwosu, Anambra governorship candidate for the ADC. And Ebuka Onyekwelu, spokesperson and media director, Paul Chukwuma Campaign Council for the Young Progressive Party, all joining us via Zoom. And thank you for your time. And all the best next week.
Thank you.
Yes.
Even though there are those who believe that the INEC, the old INEC, is the one that is going to organize this election because the new guy just came in and all procurements have been made. Anyway, what do I know really?
Things essentially staff members are still the same.
Exactly. So
the people on the board, the commissioners are essentially the same. It's just the main man is the only change.
Sometimes it just comes to you when we are always expecting any. Anyway, we'll be right back to talk about that thing, pre-elimination. Can't we just go to elimination? But anyway, we'll find out about that.
Well, the way. See you soon.